Hi Francis sir.
Hello, Vibin sir. Good morning.
You seems to be coming on a long journey.
Yeah, I'm just coming back from Kerala.
How is the trip?
Oh, well, it was pleasant, of course.
How is the car? It seems you are getting good mileage.
Oh, yes, surely. But you know, when I was going back from Bangalore to Kerala, I was getting nearly about 20 to 21 kilometer per liter. But over there in Kerala, it drastically came down to 15 to 16 kilometer per liter.
Well, that's obvious. The road over there are not plain. They are all up and down and zigzag.
Okay, sir, we'll meet you soon. My students are waiting there. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Good morning, dear students, and welcome back to a new chapter. Well, I hope you have got an idea about the different landscape from my conversation with Vipin sir, right? So, the land surface of the earth is not the same everywhere. It has a variety of features, and there are highlands at some places, and while other places are low-lying. So, in this chapter, we are going to discuss about various or major landforms of the earth. In this, we will discuss mountains and different types of mountains, fault mountains, volcanic mountains, and block mountains. And next, plateaus and plains. We also will discuss about the importance of plateaus and plains. So, let's learn together. The various landforms on the Earth's surface are a result of two types of forces, that is, internal and external. Remember, the various landforms on the Earth's surface are a result of two types of forces, internal and external. The internal forces act from inside the Earth towards the surface, and they act suddenly and cause an upliftment or uplift or subsidence on the Earth's crust. Okay, then earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are examples of internal forces. And what about external forces? Yes, the external forces act on the surface of the earth, and they act slowly and wear down the highlands and rebuild new features on the lowlands. Okay. Then the wearing away of the earth's surface is called erosion, and when the worn down materials are deposited in low-lying areas, it is called deposition. Yes, running water, moving ice, wind and waves are examples of external forces. So, the landforms on the Earth's surface are grouped under three major divisions. Very important. The landforms on the Earth's surface are grouped under three major divisions. The first one, mountains. Second is plateaus. And the third is plains. So, let us learn about mountains. A mountain is a large mass of land that rises to a great height, much above the surrounding sea. Okay, the top of the mountain is called a peak. So, the top of mountain is called a peak, and it may be sharp or rounded. It may be sharp or it may be rounded, and it slopes down the base which is generally wide. Okay, and can you tell the difference between a hill and a mountain? Can you please say? Can you please tell the difference between a hill and a mountain? Yes, hills are naturally raised areas of land that are lower than mountains. Yes, and mountains generally occur in long chains called ranges. okay, and which stretch over hundreds of kilometers. Some mountain peaks are permanently covered with snow and are called snow caps or snow fields. Glaciers are a common feature on the slopes of many mountains. They are moving masses of ice. Glaciers are moving masses of ice and are also called rivers of ice. Glaciers give rise to perennial rivers. Okay, and in India, the Siachen in the Karakoram range and the Gangotri in the Himalayas are two big glaciers. Then the mountain regions have scanty population. Do you know why? This is so because steep slopes, lack of agricultural land, lack of transport facilities and extreme cold climate makes them unsuitable for human habitation. So based on their origin, mountains can be classified into three types. First is fault mountains, and second one block mountains, and the third volcanic mountains. So let us learn more about fault mountains. Huge amounts of sediments are deposited on the seabed, forming horizontal layers. You can watch over here. These are sediments, horizontal layers of sediments. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, many are there. And when these layers of sediments are compressed from both sides, so actually it was horizontal, but it was compressed from both sides. They are squeezed and folded. They are squeezed and folded like this. Okay. So, gradually they get uplifted and form what? Fault mountains. Got it? So, it is just because of the compression from both sides. These sediments are squeezed and uplifted and form what? Fault mountains. The Himalayas, the Alps and the Andes and the Rockies are all young fault mountains formed in the recent geological ages. Do you know what is geological age? So it is the several subdivisions of geological time and geological events from place to place. Okay, and these new young mountains are very high with steep slopes and sharp pointed peaks. And what about all the fault mountains? All the fault mountains like the Urals, the Appalachians and the Aravallis are low in height and have gentle slopes and rounded peaks. Why? The forces of erosion have acted upon them for millions of years and have considerably worn them down. Clear? And now we will move to the next, that is block mountains. Here you can watch or here you can see the image of a block mountain. Sometimes due to the forces of tension or compression, cracks or faults occur in the earth's crust and the horizontal layers of rocks break down into several blocks. Clear? Sometimes due to the forces of tension, cracks or faults occur in the earth's surface or earth's crust and the horizontal layers of rocks break down into several blocks. These blocks either get uplifted or subside along the fault. Here you can see these are the breakdown pieces of blocks, and these blocks either uplifted or subside along the fault. And the uplifted blocks, these two, these uplifted blocks are called block mountains or host. Okay, and what about the second one? Yes, and the subsided blocks are called rift valleys or grabens. Clear? And the Rhine River Valley is an example of a rift valley enclosed by two block mountains, the Vosges and the Black Forest. In India, Vindhya and Satpura are two block mountains. Okay. And the third one is volcanic mountains. During volcanic activity, hot molten magma together with ash, cinder, smoke, etc. comes out from deep inside the earth through openings or vents in the crust. Okay. And magma is called lava when it reaches the surface. Okay. Magma is called lava when it reaches the surface. Then when lava cools down, it solidifies and forming a volcanic cone which gradually builds up in size and becomes mountain. Okay. Mount Fuji in Japan, Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania and Mount Vesuvius in Italy are examples of volcanic mountains. And dear kids, let us see what are the importance of mountains. Remember, mountains act as barriers against hot and cold winds. Mountains act as natural barriers against cold and hot winds. They force the moisture bearing winds to rise and thus cause rainfall. And the glaciers give rise to rivers which provide us with water for irrigation, hydroelectricity and other uses. Then the gentle slopes of the mountains are used for cultivation of crops and fruits as well as for sheep rearing. Mountains provide minerals for industries and stones for construction. The forests provide valuable softwood, medicinal herbs and other products. And the mountain slopes are covered with dense forest which are home to a variety of wildlife. They also provide valuable softwood, medicinal herbs and other products. And the mountains on the slopes, the meadows on the slopes of the mountains are excellent grazing grounds for sheep. Mountains are very important for tourism. Yes, the snow-capped mountain peaks, thickly wooded slopes, deep valleys and swift rivers provide great scenic beauty. Various mountain sports like trekking, climbing, skiing, paragliding and whitewater rafting are also great attractions. So dear kids, let's look at the world map over here and we will try to locate the important mountain ranges of the different continents. So here you can see North America, Rocky Mountains, Appalachians, and welcome to South America. And here you can see Andes, and in Europe, Ural Mountains, and here Alps. Then in Africa it is Atlas, and here also one more thing, that is Drakensberg. And in Asia, Hind Kush, Karakoram, then the Great Himalayas, and in Australia, Great Dividing Range. Okay, so these are the important mountain ranges of the world. Clear? And now we are going to discuss about the second important feature or the division, that is plateaus. A plateau is a comparatively flat land that rises abruptly from the surrounding area. Its surface is undulating. Do you know what is undulating? A smooth curving shape. Okay. So a plateau surface is undulating and it is usually has steep slopes on one or more sides. Steep slopes on one or more sides. It is also called a tableland. Okay, it is also called a tableland. Plateaus vary in height from a few hundred to several thousand meters. Okay, and Tibet Plateau is the highest plateau in the world. Remember, Tibet Plateau is the highest plateau in the world. Okay, and plateaus are formed by internal forces, volcanic activity or erosion. Okay, plateaus are formed by internal forces, volcanic activity or erosion. Plateau of Western Australia, Canadian Shield, Plateau of Patagonia, Ethiopian Plateau, Plateau of Iran and Deccan Plateaus are some major important plateaus of the world. And let's learn what are the importance of plateaus. Plateaus are useful to us in different ways. First and foremost, plateaus are rich in mineral deposits and waterfalls in plateau regions can be harnessed can be used for hydroelectricity. Waterfalls in plateau regions can be used for generating hydroelectricity. And volcanic plateaus are rich in black soil. This is a fertile soil, right? So they are very fertile and good for crops like cotton and sugarcane. And the natural beauty of plateaus are also attracts many tourists. And now we are moving to the next and the last, plains. Do you know what is plain? A plain is a flat, low-lying land surface with very gentle slope. Okay, a plain is a flat, low-lying land surface with a very gentle slope. In some regions, plains are absolutely level while the surface is undulating. Plains are generally not more than 200 meters above mean sea level. Okay, and let's see what are the importance of plains. Plains are useful to us in many ways. Most plains have fertile soil and are thus ideal for agriculture. Okay, and river plains have abundant supply of water, which very useful for human settlements. And the flat surface of plains helps in the construction of transport network, buildings, then industries, etc. Okay, no wonder then that the plains are the most thickly populated areas of the world. The different landforms of the earth are complementary to each other. Each is an important element of the environment and provides vital natural resources. Then humans have used them in various ways, but careful planning is required in their utilization so that they can be reserved for the needs of the future generation. Okay, so I just want to make into your notice, a great poet Shelley once said, away from men and towns, to the wild wood and the downs. Away from men and towns, to the wild wood and the downs, to the silent wilderness where the soul need not repress its music. So, dear kids, if you want to save the humankind, you should first take care of nature. It is the legacy that we leave behind that brings us hope. That's for sure. So, take care, stay home, stay safe. Bye bye.